into Dragon Age. The Valgard.
Yeah, this
one's gotten some.
It's been making some noise. That's for sure. Not all of it good, though.
Right. Is it worth your money? Is it worth your time?
Big question, right? Is this BioWare back on top, or what is this?
Yeah, so we're going to take a look, and we're going to try to figure that out.
Exactly.
For you guys. So first impressions. Visuals matter, right?
Yeah.
Out the gate.
Always.
The Valgard visually is kind of a mixed bag.
Interesting.
On the one hand, like the environments there, amazing. Like think huge landscapes, detailed cities.
Yeah, they nailed the look.
It feels like Dragon Age, right?
Each place tells a story. Visually, you can feel the history and culture.
Absolutely. But then we get to the character designs.
Oh.
And it's like someone went a little crazy with the cartoon fight button.
I like a slider and went all the way over.
They went for this stylized look, and it's just not working for a lot of players.
Yeah, like I can see wanting to go for a specific style, but when it clashes with the story, when you're trying to have like a serious dramatic moment and the characters look like they belong in Shrek.
Yeah, it's like, how am I supposed to take this seriously?
Exactly, it undercuts the emotion.
Yeah, I wonder if they were trying to appeal to like a different audience, maybe, you know?
More of a broader audience that's used to that kind of look.
Yeah, maybe more casual gamers or something.
Yeah.
But for like the Dragon Age fans, you know, who've been there since the beginning, this could be a real turnoff.
For sure. For sure.
And it feels like this like disconnect between the visuals and the tone of the game.
Yeah.
It kind of keeps happening.
Right, like the game wants to be light and fun, but Dragon Age has always been this kind of dark world.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have these like intense companion conversations that we know and love from the series.
Right.
But everyone looks like a Pixar character.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
It's really weird. So speaking of like jarring transitions, let's talk about the game's performance.
Okay, so performance-wise, this game is a beast.
It's amazing, smooth frame rates, even at 4K. With all the settings cranked up.
Yeah, they optimize the heck out of this thing. So even if you have like a crazy powerful PC, no lag, no stuttering.
It's beautiful.
It's going to be a smooth experience.
And it's not just for those high-end PCs, like it's Steam Deck verified.
Oh, nice.
You can take it on the go, and there's no DRM.
Freedom.
Total freedom. You can install it wherever you want.
That's what we like to hear.
But let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
Smooth frame rates, they don't mean much if the story and the gameplay are boring.
You got that right.
And that brings us to the writing, which seems to be like the biggest complaint about the Valgard.
Yeah, the consensus is that it's just not that good.
Really?
Not BioWare's best work, for sure. It lacks that nuance and depth that we've come to expect from them.
Oh, man.
Like, the dialogue is very simple, and the plot is full of cliches.
Really? What about those moral dilemmas?
Yeah.
Like the branching storylines that made Dragon Age so good?
They're kind of missing this time around.
Oh, no.
You're kind of stuck on this one path. You're always the good guy no matter what you do.
Like no matter what choices you make.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's all leading to the same ending.
It feels like it.
So there's not really much replay value there.
Not as much as we're used to from BioWare.
Man, that's disappointing.
Yeah, it is.
Especially because, you know, in a game like this, you want to be able to role play and make those tough choices.
Exactly.
And it sounds like they're not really giving you the option to do that.
Not really. And you know what else is disappointing?
What's that?
The Dreadwolf letdown.
Ugh, don't even get me started.
Remember Solas?
How could I forget?
From Inquisition, that mysterious elven god?
All that build up.
Right. All that potential, and where did it go?
To waste.
Basically. Yeah, he's been sidelined.
So who are the big bads this time around?
So instead of Solas, we get these two generic evil elven gods.
Oh, no.
Like they're evil just for the sake of being evil.
Oh, come on.
No nuance, no complexity.
What a missed opportunity.
Oh, I know, right? They had this amazing character with so much depth, and they just threw it all away for these generic villains.
It's unbelievable.
It really is. It makes you wonder if they were trying to avoid any controversy.
What do you mean?
Well, Solas's motivations are complex.
Right.
There's a lot of gray area there, and maybe they just wanted to play it safe.
So they went with the most basic villains imaginable.
Yeah, pretty much. But in doing so, they sacrificed what could have been an amazing story.
Ugh, it's such a shame.
It is.
So we've got these gorgeous environments, amazing performance.
Right.
But then we have these character designs that just don't fit and a story that doesn't really deliver.
Yeah. So where do we go from here?
Well, I guess we got to dive into the gameplay itself.
Let's do it.
And see if the Valgard can redeem itself.
See if there's anything to salvage here.
Fingers crossed.
We can hope, right? So gameplay-wise, it feels like The Valguard falls into that classic BioWare trap, trying to do too much,
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
spreading themselves thin a little bit.
Okay, so what's not working then? What are we talking about here?
Well, take the combat, for example. It's a far cry from, the tactical depth of Origins.
Oh, really? Yeah. Origins had a lot of...
Or even Inquisition.
Okay.
It's very streamlined, almost like a button masher at times.
So you're not really thinking strategically.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
You don't have that fine control over your companions or the ability to, really exploit weaknesses.
So it's not that challenging.
Not really, and it gets pretty repetitive fighting the same enemies in similar-looking areas.
Yeah, that's a shame. I always loved in the old games, experimenting with different party builds
Right.
and trying different strategies for different fights.
Exactly, and that seems to be missing here. It feels like they've traded depth for accessibility,
Interesting.
which, isn't always a bad thing,
Right.
but it does change the overall experience.
For sure. And is that kind of a trend across the whole game? Or is it just the combat?
I'd say it's a bit of a trend. Look at the companion quests.
Okay, companion quests, BioWare usually nails those.
Right, you'd think so.
What's the issue?
So individually, the companions are actually well written. They've got cool personalities, interesting backstories,
Okay.
but their quests just feel so disconnected from the main plot.
Oh, so you're pulled out of the story to go on these side adventures that ultimately don't really matter.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Yeah.
like they're trying to do that Mass Effect 2 thing.
Oh, yeah, with the loyalty missions.
Exactly. But the integration just isn't there.
That's disappointing because I love when those companion quests really tie into the main narrative.
Right. They add so much depth.
Yeah, it makes the world feel more connected.
Exactly. And this lack of integration, it extends to the choices you make too.
So it's not just that I'm always the good guy. My choices don't even really matter.
Yeah, even the big decisions don't have much of an impact on the story or how your companions react.
So no matter what I do, it all plays out basically the same.
Pretty much. It's a step back from what we've seen in other BioWare games.
Yeah, like in Mass Effect, your choices could have consequences that would ripple across multiple games.
Exactly. You really felt the weight of your decisions.
It made you think twice.
Right. But here, it feels like they've gone for a more streamlined approach.
Which again isn't bad, but...
Yeah, but it does sacrifice some of that depth and replayability.
Right. Makes you wonder if they're trying to appeal to a different audience, maybe?
Maybe people who are new to RPGs or something?
Yeah, more casual players?
Possibly. And, another big criticism is the world design.
Okay, the environments are beautiful though, right?
Maybe-
That's what we said.
They are visually stunning, but they feel kind of disconnected.
What do you mean by disconnected?
Like they lack that sense of scale and exploration that you get in other open world RPGs. You just travel from one self-contained area to the next. There's no real sense of cohesion or purpose.
So it's not that fun to explore.
Not really. It feels more like a series of set pieces than a living, breathing world.
Okay, so to recap, we've got combat that's kind of repetitive, companion quests that are disconnected, a lack of meaningful choices, and a world that's not that fun to explore. Is there anything about the Valguard that's actually good?
Well, there is one bright spot.
Okay, or let's
The companion characters themselves.
Oh, so even though their quests aren't great, the characters are still interesting.
Exactly. They're well written with distinct personalities and motivations, and their interactions are actually pretty fun.
So there's still a little bit of that BioWare magic when it comes to characters.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. But overall, it sounds like the Valguard is shaping up to be a bit of a letdown, especially for those who've been following this series for a while.
It's definitely not the return to form that many were hoping for,
Right.
but there's still some elements that might appeal to certain players.
Like who?
Well, maybe newcomers to the franchise or people who are just looking for a more casual RPG experience.
Okay, so those who don't mind the streamlined mechanics and the lack of choice.
Exactly. So the big question remains, is the Valguard worth your time and money?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is, and honestly, it depends on what you're looking for in a game.
So it's like we said, gorgeous to look at, but the story's kind of a letdown, amazing performance, but the gameplay feels a little thin.
Right, a real mixed bag.
Yeah, so should you actually spend your money on Dragon Age? The Valguard.
Tough
What
question.
do you think?
Well, it all comes down to what you're looking for in a game.
Okay, so let's say I'm a diehard Dragon Age fan.
Okay.
Love the old games, the tactics, the branching storylines, all that.
Yeah.
Should I avoid Valguard?
Honestly, you might be disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, this one feels like it's geared towards a more casual audience. Like if you're expecting that deep, complex RPG experience, You might not find it here.
So they traded depth for accessibility.
I think so.
Okay, so who should buy the Valguard then?
Well, if you're new to Dragon Age, it could be a good starting point.
Okay.
The streamlined gameplay might be easier to get into. And the story, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible either.
So like a fun popcorn flick.
Exactly. Something to enjoy, but you probably won't be thinking about it too much afterwards.
And what about the characters? We talked about how BioWare usually does a good job with those.
Yeah, they did a good job here too.
Really?
Yeah, even though the companion quests aren't that great, the characters themselves are still really well done.
Okay.
They're interesting. They're funny. You might actually find yourself caring about them.
So a little bit of that BioWare magic is still there.
It's there for sure.
And of course, we can't forget about the technical side of things.
Right.
Like this game is beautiful and it runs like a dream.
Absolutely. If you've got a powerful PC or a Steam Deck, you'll get to experience it all without any problems.
And no DRM.
Yeah.
Can't forget about that.
Always a good thing. So basically, the Valguard is a beautiful game with great performance and fun characters.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But if you're looking for a deep and complex RPG with a truly amazing story, you might want to wait for a sale or check out something else. Exactly. It really comes down to your expectations and what you value in a game.
Well, there you have it, folks. Hopefully this deep dive has helped you decide whether or not Dragon Age, the Valguard, is for you.
That's what we're here for, right? To give you the information you need to make an informed decision.
Exactly. So until next time, happy gaming, everyone.
Happy gaming.